Hi everyone, hello and welcome to day 2 of our course. So let me just see if I'm live, if everything's connected, if you can hear me. Okay, yes, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's me. Perfect. So, okay, so I can see comments. Okay, perfect. So, welcome again to day 2 of our course. So today is all about we're going to start setting strong foundations of your business. So day 2 today and day 3 tomorrow, it's all about setting strong foundations of business, because this is probably the stage that a lot of people skip, okay? And that's why they struggle to create a consistent income and scale their business. What I see with people, they market whatever they can, their skills, their experience, and they're hoping to get clients like right now, which is obviously okay, but we need to start thinking about building hang on, I've got some sort of fluff here. Building a sustainable business, something that will not just generate money today and tomorrow, but something that can bring you consistent income, something you can rely on. Okay, so for those of you who are hopping on, please say hi and welcome back to day 2. If you're watching on the replay, please put #replay so I know that you're watching as well. Okay, so today is all about connecting to your soul's purpose and turning it into soul-aligned niche. So why is that so important? It's so important because for a lot of people that I work with, they think they know what their purpose is, but when we start working together, they realize that the purpose was a little bit too broad, and actually their purpose is so much more unique. And why connecting to your purpose is so important is because, especially for me, I don't want to teach you, I don't want to help you create a business that is just any business. I'm here to help you fulfill your soul's purpose, your soul's mission. So for me, it's really important for you to create something that truly aligns with you, and that will of course then help you raise your vibration, so you're vibrating at a higher frequency, which really links to our training from yesterday. Okay, so when you connect to your purpose, you not only can you can have bigger connection with your soul and with your inner being and with your intuition, so you'll be guided more, you'll be able to hear more, but also you'll be raising your vibration straight away. Marilyn, hello. Replay, please. Okay, do you want to replay for today's training, because I will be posting that in an email later on today, or do you want to replay for from yesterday? I can send you both. So connecting to your purpose is very important, because not only it will help you raise vibrations, but also when the road gets tough, it will motivate you a lot more. When you connect truly to your yesterday. Okay, Marilyn, yesterday's please. Okay, no problem. When you connect to your purpose, when the road gets tough, it will really motivate you. It will make you more determined, and I will be sitting here lying to you if I said to you, you will never ever have any problems in your business. Your business will be growing every single month. That's not how it works, and I want you guys to be prepared for that, because I think in our online space, a lot of people talk about growing your business every month, scaling, but the thing is, it's it's impossible to scale your business every single month. You will have big months, like huge months, like 50, 70k months, but there will be also months when you have 5, 8, 10k months. It's fine, and that's normal, right? And I want you to know that that's normal. Doesn't mean that you're moving back or you're not progressing. Quite the opposite. You always look at your business financially from like a whole year, where did I actually create bigger impact. And typically, if you're scaling your business and your business is growing, it's normally a yes, right? But it might not be that every single month will be better and better, right? You will have, sometimes it will be difficult, and what helps you get out of bed is your purpose, your connection to the why you're doing this, because you're not doing this just for the money. The money is just a byproduct. Money is never our motivation. Our motivation should really be, we want to create impact, we want to change the world, we want to serve people. So today I'll be helping you really clarifying what your purpose is, because your purpose is definitely not the modality that you're teaching or you're using. So for example, a lot of healers come to me and say, I'm a healer, that's my purpose. Yes, that's a small part of your purpose, but there's so much more to you than just a healer. Healing is just a modality you're using to fulfill your purpose. Okay, and a lot of people get that wrong. So today we'll be connecting to your purpose. And also, how many of you, so if you're watching on a replay, please, comment as well, because as I say, the more you participate in this course, the more you're gonna get out of it. So please participate as much as possible. So how many of you, when it comes to attracting your clients, you actually promote your skill or your experience, but really, like for example, if you're a Reiki practitioner, you promote Reiki, or if you're a tarot reader, you promote tarot, or if you're a coach, you promote life coaching or business coaching, whatever it is that you're a coach on. And how many of you do that? Okay, so if you're watching us live, put it in comments below, but if you're watching us on replay, put it in comments below as well. Okay, so I see this all the time. I'm in a lot of spiritual groups, coaching groups, and I see this all the time. Do you want a reading? Do you want a healing? That sort of marketing. And this is not the right way of attracting your clients. Okay, why? That's because when you promote your skill or the modality that you're using, whether that's Reiki, tarot reading, coaching, mentoring, it can be anything, therapy, can be anything, you have so many competitors, okay? Because everybody, when you look at spiritual groups, everybody markets themselves in the same way, okay? So you actually disappear in a crowded market space. Me as a client, I wouldn't know who to pick, and probably I would get overwhelmed and I'll be like, I don't want to do this anymore, right? So it's really, really difficult. You probably will attract maybe 1 or 2 clients here and there, but that's not what I'm about. I'm about to help you create a 6-figure business year on year, when you're scaling, when you're growing, when you are attracting more and more people, so you can create bigger impact. Okay, Vicky, sorry, can you repeat the question? How many of you market yourself in a way where you just market your skill or your modality of your healing, or whether that's Reiki, whatever you do, coaching or mentoring? So you can say something like, who here needs a tarot reader, or who here needs healing, or who here needs business coaching, or who here needs life coaching, so how many of you actually market yourself in that way? And I'm just trying to say that it's not the right way forward, and I'm telling you now what you shouldn't be doing, and I'm going to move on to telling you in a minute what to do instead to attract clients. Okay, so when you just focusing on your ability or your skill or your modality or the healing modality, for example, as I say, you will sound, hi Shamila, good to see you here again. You will Vicky, thank you. I post inspiration or something from personal experience that might resonate with someone, and I add in a bit at the end saying Vicky Mac Energy can help. Okay, so it depends what you do. It needs to be very, very specific, and we're going to go on about it, and you can share with me exactly what you're writing, and then I can give you some feedback. But if you just say, the general stuff, what I just mentioned, you sound like everybody else who has the same skill, because there's so many Reiki practitioners, there's so many tarot readers, there's so many coaches and mentors, and, so if you just offer that, you disappear in a crowded marketplace, okay? Because there's so many people in those Facebook groups who do exactly the same thing as you do, okay? So that's the first problem with it. The second problem is that obviously you have a lot of competition as a result. The third thing is that you only appeal to people who already know what you offer. So for example, if you're a Reiki practitioner and you're talking about Reiki, you only appeal to people who already know what Reiki is. So you're limiting your scope so much, and you're limiting how many clients you can actually attract. And there might be people who have never heard about Reiki who would love to try if you only told them what Reiki is all about. That's just a example, okay? And as I said before, your modality, your skill, your ability is not your purpose, right? There's so much more to your purpose. It needs to be so much more unique, okay? So what do we want to do instead? Sorry, the minute I started talking, I have bad cough. What you want to be doing instead is, maybe you've heard of this, is to niche down. So once you connect to your purpose, and we'll be doing that as well in a minute, you want to be niching down, which means that, and this is something that will actually make or break your business, and a lot of people completely disregard this step because they think, oh, I just want to go into marketing, I just want to go into attracting clients. But if you don't get this part wrong, you will really struggle. And this course, what I'm teaching you across these 4 days, it needs to be in order, right? So first you need to really be working on your energy, and you need to be working on your energy actually throughout building your business and operating in your business. So the energy work never stops. But today, you definitely, step number 1 is to connect to your purpose. Step number 2 is to connect to your soul aligned niche, right? It has to be in this order. Only then we can create your offer. Only then we can start thinking about creating the right business strategies for attracting clients. But if your foundations are shaky, you will never be able to attract clients consistently, and you'll really struggle with attracting clients, okay? So really do not miss this step, and make sure that this step is right, because I've had so many clients who came to me and said, yeah, I already know my soul's purpose, I already know my niche, but I'm really struggling to attract clients, so I really want you to help me with attracting clients. But then when we go back to their foundations, they didn't do it right. So that's why they couldn't attract clients. So this is really important, okay? Really focus on getting this thing right. So niching down. So first thing, so you need to, you need to be very clear what niche is really, you need to be very clear about what is the main problem that I'm solving for my clients. What is the biggest pain and struggle that they're going through that they cannot overcome by themselves, and the only hope for them is to go out there and get help, and they're ready to pay for it, okay? So you need to be very clear about the main problem you're solving for your clients, and the results you're providing. And the how you're going to get them from problem to results is obviously your skills, your abilities, your experience, your life story. So that comes as a how, but that's not what you do for your clients. So when you're marketing your services, you should really be focusing on talking to people about what you help them with, what problem you're solving, and the results you're getting. And only then you can start talking about how. But a lot of people talk about just the how, oh, I'm gonna do Reiki for you, but people have no idea what that means, okay? So why niching is so important? Because when you target everyone, when you're being so broad and general, and of course when it comes to our spiritual abilities, healing abilities, or coaching abilities, these are such powerful tools and modalities that you can help people with any problem, right? But if you, as I said, if you're being too general, you will not target anybody, you will not attract anybody, because you'll just disappear in a crowded marketplace, okay? So your message needs to be very specific, and your soul's purpose will help you with that, okay? People, another thing is, only invest in themselves, and therefore will pay you if they have a specific problem that they cannot overcome themselves, okay? So for example, if you have problem with your liver, right, you go to a liver doctor. You will not go to a dentist, or you will not go to a general practice, right? You would just go mainly to see that doctor that deals with liver, right? And it's the same when it comes to healing. It's the same thing when it comes to coaching, right? When people have a specific problem, they know what their problem is, okay? They might not understand why this problem came about, but they know that they're experiencing a problem. They have a pain. They might have emotional pain, physical pain. They might have mental health problems. They might have business problems. They might have problems with, connecting to their purpose. They might have problems with so many things, but they know what they're experiencing. This is bothering them. This is something that is so big for them, that is preventing them from maybe living to the fullest. And normally what happens is that we try to solve it ourselves, right? We go online, we try to do something for free, we try to do this we want to solve our problem, but only when we fail to do that and the problem is annoying us so much, only then we realize, okay, actually it's now time for me to invest. So they will only invest if they have specific problem, and they will only invest if you speak to them about that particular problem, because they will not go to someone general with their money, right? Because everybody works hard for the money, so they would think twice about investing. So if somebody suffers from depression, they're not going to go to just a general healer who can heal you from everything, because then you're not an expert in any area, okay? So if somebody is depressed, they'll go to a healer who specializes in depression, or they'll go to a therapist who specializes in depression, okay? And you would probably do the same thing, right? Like, for example, you want to build your business, you're not going to go to just a life coach who knows about anything and everything. You're going to go to someone who specializes not only in business, but you will find someone who resonates with you, someone who does it in the way that you want to do it. So it becomes very, very, very specific. And that's, the more specific you are, the easier it is to attract people, because you will speak to them, you will be able to connect to them on a very emotional level. You know, it will be soul connection. When you're authentic, when you speak the language, they'll be like, oh my God, I need you. You speak my my language. You know exactly what I need. You know my problems. You know the results I want. Like, I want to work with you. So that's why it's so important to niche down. Okay. And remember, if people are confused and they don't really know who you are, what you do, what results you can provide for them, they're not going to buy. So this is so powerful. I actually had a client recently, and the minute we nailed his niche, he attracted 6 clients within like 3 weeks, and he made 18,000 euros, okay, without any marketing. Right, so he connected to his purpose. He was very clear about his messaging, like within himself. He got clear on that after years and years and years of being a healer and barely making a living, right? And the minute we connected to his purpose and we turned it into niche, and he knew exactly how to communicate with people, 6 people came to him and they decided to work with him straight away. And one person said to him, he said, I've spoken to so many healers and I have no idea how they could help me, but you were the only healer who was very clear what you will help me with, how you will do it, and the results I'm gonna get. And of course, we can never promise results, because at the end of the day, there's only so much we can do. It's really up to the person to be receptive and to do the work, right? But you can say quite confidently that if they follow your advice and if they open, this is something that is most likely to happen. These are the most likely results that they will get, right? So you need to be very, very clear, because remember, confused people do not buy. And if you're very wishy-washy with your results, people will not purchase from you, okay? So I get reviews from results of healing. That's really good. That's really, really good. Reviews are always and testimonials are very good. They will only help you. And it's very difficult to create content as well. Terry, hello, and welcome. So, and it's very difficult to create content, right? Because I know I'm going to be talking about business strategies and marketing later on day 4. But, it's all about creating the right content for your clients, creating content that comes from your soul, and it's in alignment with who you truly are. And it's very difficult to create content when you're just a general healer and you don't focus on any specific problem, so what do you talk about, and then people get really, really stuck because there's so much they want to talk about. And again, people will not resonate. For a lot of people, how it is when we attract clients is that some people are ready to purchase from you straight away. They're already like, yeah, I'm ready. Some people need a little bit more convincing, which means they need a little bit more time to get to know you, to trust you, to see if you are the right person for them. When it comes to our services, they are very intimate, so it's very important to meet the right people. So they need to resonate with you. And how do they do that? Through your content creation. So content creation is something that I will help you, we will talk about on day 4, which can really help you attract clients consistently every single day, just by being you, just by speaking your truth. But you, again, your content needs to be very tailored to your audience, okay? Because people nowadays, they don't have time to figure out what you mean. They have a problem, they want to know, they want to learn how you can help them. So it needs to be very, very, very tailored content, so they understand that you're speaking to them. Okay. And also, when you're being too general, you are unable really to connect to your purpose through your content, or through your with your business, which again lowers your vibrations, which we know how important that is from yesterday's training. Okay. And when you miss out on niching out, that's really, you're missing out on what makes you different, what makes you unique. Because, even though you have been trained to do, let's say, one modality, for a lot of people that I work with, through our work, they realize that they know so much more than just this one modality. For a lot of people, they know so many different modalities. They have different skills, they have different experience, and it's all about putting it all together and knowing how to communicate with your clients, so they know how different, how unique you are. Because just because you're a Reiki practitioner and somebody else is Reiki practitioner doesn't mean that you're the same, that you're doing it the same way. So how can you differentiate yourself from other people so people are drawn to you, to your authenticity? So again, niching down will really help you with that. Okay. And again, when you're able to speak very clearly about what you do, you'll be able to reach out to a wider population, not only people who already know what you do, like Reiki, for example. You'll be able to explain to them and educate them about what you do. So you're actually reaching a wider audience. Okay. So just to give you an example, okay, because maybe that will help, is that, recently I was working with, I'm just going to give you an example of two of my clients. So both of them were tarot readers, right? So they were marketing themselves as tarot readers. Who wants a reading on this, finances, relationship, doesn't matter, or like general guidance, tarot readers, right? But when they came to work with me and they connected to their purpose, one person connected, her soul's purpose was to help people with depression, but even deeper than that, even more specific, she was helping people with suicidal thoughts. Okay, so very specific, again, very, very specific and niche, and she was doing it through spiritual connection, and tarot was helping her and her clients to connect to their souls. And the second tarot reader, it turned out that her soul's purpose was to actually help people create businesses. Okay, so she was helping people create businesses, and she was using lots of different modalities, and tarot reading was just one of the things that she was using to help people create their businesses. Okay, so you can see that they came to me as like the same thing, right? They were promoting the same thing, tarot reading. Okay, but can you see how different their businesses became? And they were still using tarot reading, but for very different purposes. Okay, so you can see how different they were. So if they were carry on promoting it as tarot reading, they were each other's competition, and they couldn't get any clients. But the minute they connected it to their purpose and got really clear on what they actually do and how they help people, they started attracting clients, because they were like, oh my god, we love this. They felt so connected to it. And again, the vibration, the frequency has gone up, and they raised, and and they were able to attract clients with their clarity. Okay, so that is massive. Okay, so let's now think about how we can do this, how we can achieve this. Okay, so as I said, step one is really to connect to your purpose. And for a lot of people, that can be a struggle, because there might be a lot of blocks coming up. So I'm going to give you a few questions that might help you to connect to your purpose. So again, try to do it, again, connect to your heart, to your soul. Try not to answer these questions from your head space, because head is something that, you're not going to find your purpose in your head. That's for sure. So maybe before you before you answer these questions, maybe do a quick meditation, or just set intention that you want to connect to your purpose. But for a lot of people, it's quite scary to connect to their purpose. I remember that when I was sitting in my 9-to-5 job, I was craving for more purpose, for more meaning. I wanted to help people. It was my need. It was such strong need for me, and I really desired to connect to my purpose. But at the same time, I was terrified. So I really one part of me really wanted to connect to my purpose, and I couldn't wait for it. But another part, I was terrified, and I was like, oh my god, if I connect to my purpose, and there's no way back, you know, you have to fulfill your purpose, right? And what if I don't succeed? What if I fail? Then I'll fail my purpose, I fail people that I'm meant to be helping. You know, there's a lot of pressure. So if you find difficult to answer these questions, it might be that you have some blockages. So it's important to maybe to first identify your blockages so you can start working through them. There will be a lot of fear probably. But if you can come up with the answers, that's amazing, and you can definitely share those with us inside this group or even in this chat. Okay, so the first question could be, what impact do you want to create? And normally when I ask this question is, you know, what impact does my soul want to create? We're here to create an impact. What impact is it, right? What matters to you so much? Okay, for like when I was doing this, when I was connecting to my purpose, what I really thought about was, you know, what is so important to me? What's the most important thing for me in life? And I also started thinking, what would I want to fix in the world? If I could fix one thing in the world, what would it be? And for me, it was so easy. I just want people to do something that they love, right? So it connects back to purpose. And that's why I do what I do now, right? I help people connect to purpose and make a living from purpose. So, so for me, that was it. You know, when you think globally, like, what is the one main thing you're sick and tired of? And if you could heal the world from this one thing, what would that be? What is the most important thing for you? And please share your answers in the comments below, because, you know, I'll be able to then guide you more in terms of, you know, how you can dig deeper to get more clarity around your purpose. Okay, your story could also be a great way to connect into your purpose, okay, because there's a reason why you've struggled before, and, you know, the problems that you've had, that you've overcome. So for a lot of us, we have this one main thing that, you know, we've obviously struggled from a lot of problems, but what is this one main problem that you've struggled with, that you have overcome, and you're very passionate about helping other people overcome the same problem? What is that thing? Okay, so for me, again, it was the connecting to my purpose. I felt so lost. I lost my identity. I was burnt out because I was living completely out of alignment for so many years. And for me, connecting to my purpose was the most important thing in life at that time. So that's why I wanted to help other people do that. And when I started my business, it wasn't a business. I wasn't helping people with their businesses. I was only helping people connect to their purpose first. Only then I developed, my business, developed into actually turning people's purposes into their business, right? But right at the beginning, it was just about purpose. So your story could be a great indicator to what your purpose is. Another thing, if you didn't have to worry about money, if you just won a lottery and you didn't really have to worry about money at all, what would you do? And I remember, I've been doing this work for 4 years. You know, I've helped thousands and thousands of people now with connecting to their purpose. And I remember this one client. It was very, very difficult. And I've never failed to connect people with their purpose with one session. It only takes me one session. But with this particular client, it was so difficult, you know, like all the answers I was getting, whenever I was asking him questions, would be, I don't know. And I knew that he came to me with already a business idea, but I knew that this business idea was not his purpose. It was just his head talking, and his friend wanted to do business with him, and that was it. So, so I remember towards the end of our session, I asked him, okay, so let's say you're doing this business that you really want, and it gives you millions and millions and millions of pounds. What do you do then with your free time? And he said, I would go to the pub. And I thought, oh my God, this is not going well, you know. And then he said, and I said, okay, so what would you do in a pub? And he said, I would look for the person who looks the saddest. And I was like, okay, interesting. Why? What would you do? And he said, I would go to that person, I would try my best to make them happy. And I thought, oh my God, this is so beautiful. And he actually ended up doing coaching, and he was a happiness coach. So again, when we think about business or connecting to our purpose, money gets in the way. But if you had the money in your bank, or if you knew money is coming every single week, every single month, forever, in abundance, what would you actually do? Or if no one would judge you, what would you do as well? If you couldn't fail, what would you do? These are other questions that can trigger you into connecting to your purpose. Another thing is, looking back on your career in 20 years from now, what would you like to have achieved? What would you make you feel so proud? Okay. Another thing is, what causes light you up? Or, I know for a lot of people, when I sort of ask these sort of questions, they give me quite broad answers, such as, I want to bring more light into the world, I want to raise vibrations, I want to help people. So if you're getting these sort of answers, dig a little bit deeper, ask yourself, okay, so how does that look like? I want to bring more light to this world. What does that exactly mean? And the more questions you ask yourself, the more specific you will get. Okay. So at first, sometimes our purpose can be quite generic, but that's when the niching down is coming next. Okay, so once you know your purpose, so how many of you already know what your specific purpose is right now? So Shamila, yes, agreed. That's my hurdle, always saying I don't have enough. Yes, exactly. So how many of you already know what your purpose is? If you like specific purpose, if you already know, let us know in the comments, and I'll be checking the comments as well. It will be good to know what your purpose is. And then soul aligned niche. It's important that everything is soul aligned, and we know why, right? To raise our vibrations in the business. So a lot of people struggle when it comes to niche and business creation in general, because they believe that there are niches that are profitable and there are also niches that are not profitable. So I've had so many clients who came to me and said, okay, I really want to do business coaching because that's where the money is. But I'm very passionate about spirituality, but that's not really a business because there's no money in it. So let me do the business coaching. I'm gonna make my money, and that's it. And you couldn't be more wrong, right? I don't want you guys to believe that there are profitable or non-profitable niches. It all is down to your alignment. I know people in spirituality field who are absolutely, millionaires. They're so successful. They've helped so many amazing people. They're just incredible. And they're making amazing money. I also know people in spirituality fields when they make no money, right? I also know people in business coaching when they make no money. I also know people in business coaching that make tons and tons of money. It doesn't matter what you do. What matters is your alignment. As we said yesterday, energy is absolutely everything. So if you go against your soul, against what you really truly want, and you go with your head that tells you, oh, go into this niche because it's more profitable, you're going to lose out. You're not going to be attracting the right people, and you're not going to be attracting people. You will really, really struggle financially. Remember, money comes as a reward. It's only a byproduct of your alignment. Let me say that again, and I want you to remember this. Money is only a byproduct of your energetic alignment. So you must stick to what you truly want to do, and you have been placed on this earth to help people with one specific, maybe not one specific problem, but with specific problem. Okay, so you must follow that, right? So don't go into that horrible thinking that, oh, I need to do something else because that seems more profitable. No, so don't copy anybody, don't follow anyone. Really connect to yourself and really figure out what you're here to do. Okay. Shamila, I don't know, have so many skills though. Yes, exactly, right? And the thing, the reason, and another thing a lot of people say is that I'm not ready yet, I don't have enough skills, I don't have enough experience to do my purpose, to fulfill my purpose. It's not true. You've been given a purpose because you are ready already to help people with that, right? You already have the right skills, experience, abilities, everything. Because a lot of people say, oh, I need another qualifications. Oh, if I do this qualifications, then I'll be ready. And then when they finish this qualification, it's like, oh, now I want to do something else and something else. And they have so many qualifications, so many abilities and skills, but they're not utilizing it because they still can't attract clients, right? So this is, again, it comes to self-worth. You know, you need to feel, it doesn't matter how many qualifications you're going to have. If you don't have self-worth, qualifications will not make you feel confident. They'll make you feel confident for just a little bit, okay? Vicky, I know my purpose is to help people be happier, experience more self-worth and self-love, and I know it's got something to do with creativity, possible head thinking though. Okay. My journey story is around self-love and self-worth. So that's interesting, okay? And I'll be actually talking about the language you use in a minute. But when you say about self-love and self-worth, what was your problem? What was your problem that time that made you think, okay, I need to change something in my life? Okay, so that will help you connect to your purpose a little bit more, okay? So first of all, you know, identify your clients, and your clients will be the people who were just like you before you overcame your problem. So in that way, they'll be really able to connect to you on relationship. Okay, so then you can go deeper and think about, okay, what was the problem when it came to my relationship or my relationships? You know, what was the thing that I really struggled with? And this is the problem that your clients will be struggling with, right? And your teaching will probably be about self-love and self-worth to get them to the result. Failure of relationship. Okay, good. So again, so that's the problem. Maybe your clients, I'm just making this up because obviously like I'm getting, you know, like I don't know exactly your story, but it could be that your clients are, you know, really struggling with the failure of relationship, right? Maybe, so did you struggle with a failure, like the emotions that came after or from failure of your relationship? Or was it just the problem that you couldn't have a healthy relationship and you kept, you know, your relationship kept failing? Because there will be two very different niches again, okay? Yeah, so really think about who you really want to help. So I always ask my clients to think about your, you know, you can either go back to your own story, because that can give you like really good idea about what your clients are going through right now, right? So you always like go back to your own story, go back to, sometimes it might be quite uncomfortable, painful experience, right? And really think about where are my clients right now? What is the current reality? Vicky, I kept attracting toxic relationships and eventually asked why it always happened that way. Good, right? Amazing. That's really great clarity you've got, right? So your clients, the same thing. They have that problem. You know, I keep attracting the same partner, right? The same thing over and over again. It's toxic. I don't want to have that sort of relationship. What do they want? They probably want a healthy, nice relationship. How do you do it? Through teaching self-love and self-love and self-worth, and probably more. You probably have more skills there, right? There is your niche, right? What do you help people? What's the problem? Attracting toxic relationships. What do they want? Probably healthy, happy relationship. How? Self-love, self-worth, and so on, right? That's your niche. Can you see how simple it can be when you put it in that way? So that people, when you communicate to them, say, hey, do you struggle with attracting toxic relationships and you can't break the cycle? And do you want a healthy relationship? Come to me. This is what I specialize in, right? It can be like people, I know for a lot of people, they come to me like, oh my God, I've tried to nail it for 7-10 years and I can't do it. Sorry, it's impossible. But when you just start connecting those pieces together, like it comes really naturally and it's actually really easy to do. But my clients typically really struggle with how to communicate what they want, and my gift is to I really understand what they're trying to tell me in this like really they use very spiritual language and very like woo-woo, right? Some people would call it woo-woo. Like for me, I completely understand what they mean, but I am able to use simple language that most people understand so that they can use it and they can attract most people. Because if you use language that your clients don't understand, they're not familiar with, you're gonna lose them. They're like, what? I don't know what you're saying. But if you use a very simple language, explaining them what you do, then hello, that's amazing. That they're gonna come to you. Okay. So identify your clients. Where are they right now? What is the main problem they're struggling with? What are the struggles? How are they feeling emotionally? What are the emotional struggles, mental struggles, maybe physical struggles, right? How is this pain affecting them or problem affecting their life? Okay, so really think about